Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Bennett. Hope you're having a great holiday so far. I want to give you a quick update on our potentially wintry weather by the end of the week and talk about the cold weather today, because let's face it, it is cold out there right now. We've got a lot of high clouds across the region. Those high clouds are blocking out what little sun we could have gotten today. Might have helped us out, but it's really not doing much for those temperatures. In fact, I'm going to throw the temperatures on here. We are barely near 40 degrees in Charlotte, many areas in the upper 30s. We're not going to warm up much today at all. If anything, it's just going to get progressively colder. I'm going to turn on the 2-meter temperatures here, and I'm going to show you just how cold these air masses are. We've got one cold front that's moved through already. Obviously, another one on the way with even colder air over the Midwest. All of this Arctic air is heading into the southeast. So one thing we know for sure about the forecast this week, it's going to be cold. Coldest air we've seen since last winter. This is just brutally cold air up here in Canada that's going to be coming down. Now, you probably have seen now a lot of people are like, my model says this and my app says that. Remember, the models, any individual model is always going to be wrong. And a lot of the apps you look at, including the Weather Channel, it's a single automated model. It's not an actual person doing a forecast. So every time there's a model run, it's all over the place and it just spits out data. There's no quality control. It doesn't differentiate between sleet, ice, snow. So you get some crazy stuff. Don't buy into that. This is a pretty complicated setup because we've got this Arctic air in place that's moving over the Midwest, and that Arctic high is going to be moving down here, and it's going to establish some shallow cold air over the Carolinas. So it's going to feel cold, but the thing about this cold air, it's not really deep cold air. It's very shallow. And when you have shallow cold air and you throw some moisture into it, it's a little bit warmer above the surface, and you end up getting sleet or freezing rain. So my concern is we're going to have a little bit of an icy mix. Now, what's going on and why this is a difficult system to forecast is there's a little piece of energy up here and a piece of energy down here. There's some debate whether these two are going to tag team and become a stronger system, which would mean more in the way of precipitation and maybe a better chance of some snow. Right now, it looks like they're not going to what we call phase, which is kind of tag team and work together. We're going to get kind of a weaker system that's going to move to the south. So right now, as of today, Christmas Day, I think this is going to be a very weak system on Thursday night into Friday. But even a weak system with ice is a problem because it doesn't take much. It would be a light glaze that moves in. So here's our Arctic high. We're moving through Thursday morning here. I'm going to stop this at Thursday morning. You can see our southern system. There's a moisture down there. Our northern system hasn't really met up with it yet. And the southern system scoots off to our south. And you can see the cold air is in place. What's happening, it's that cold air wedge. Notice how the isobars are bent like this? That's an indication of cold, dry air at the surface getting pushed to the south. But just above the surface, the air is a little bit warmer, and so you get melting or refreezing or just ice. So you can see the potpourri of of different wintry weather here. And again, don't buy where these are. This could be anywhere. It could be north, south, east, west. That's why trying to pinpoint totals is actually kind of foolish at this point. I'm going to show you the 2-meter temperatures, and this is plenty cold enough at the surface. This is upper 20s. But if I look at the 850 temperatures, this is where we have a problem. This is where the temperature is below freezing at about 5,000 feet. So you got to go up here to get below freezing. Down here, the temperature at 5,000 feet is actually about 5 degrees Celsius. So it's pretty warm. So that's why you're going to have melting. It's not cold above our heads. Plenty cold at the surface, but not cold above our heads. That's why you end up with ice. It's warm over cold. To get snow, you want cold above our heads, even if it's warm at the surface. So that's why we have this wintry mix setting up. And the models, they're not going to indicate that warm layer very well this far out. You can see going into Friday morning, this thing's in and out pretty quickly. So this is why it's overall a pretty minor event. Now, once it gets to the coast, it looks like the energy from here tries to get out here, but by this time, the system is past us. This is why I don't think this is going to be a huge storm system as it moves off the coast, because by the time it phases, we call it, it's actually already past us. So there's still a chance it could phase to become a stronger system. Right now, it looks like a weak system. It's certainly not all snow. So if you see something with totals of snow, it's kind of bogus. This is going to be a mix. That's why I say don't believe your apps. Don't believe non-weather sources like papers and radio stations that don't have meteorologists on staff. Just don't buy that stuff. Talk to somebody that knows this area, because cold air damming or the wedge is really a complicated setup, and your app is not going to handle it well. Now, going through the holiday weekend next weekend, which is obviously New Year's, if we're going to see a better chance of snow, I actually think it's going to be New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, because the air is much colder at this point. This system coming down would have much colder air above our heads. You look at the 850 temperatures, notice that the freezing line at 5,000 feet is all the way down here. Remember with the event on Friday, it was up in here. So the cold air is deeper. This is actually a better setup for snow. The problem is this is even farther out in the future, and there's a lot more uncertainty. So if you want snow, New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, here it is a much better setup for snow, but it's also farther out, which means uncertainty is super high. So don't get too crazy with that. What I look at in this situation, I don't look at snow totals and stuff like that. I look at the pattern. We've got these Arctic highs diving down to the south, giving us tons of cold air, and the southern branch looks to be pretty active. So in that kind of pattern setup, at some point we're going to have a threat for wintry weather, maybe a couple going through the holiday weekend next weekend, and then going into the first and second of the year. So I actually think that's a better setup for snow. I really think this thing coming up on Thursday into Friday, it's got icy mix written all over. It's got sleet, ice, and maybe some snow with it. The one thing that's uniform throughout this is it's going to be cold, folks. Let me show you the experimental outlooks. You can still see we're in the 10% probability for Thursday night into Friday. That lasts into early Saturday. Then Sunday into Monday, you can see the snow threat. So this is the ice threat here, the 10% chance, and then you can see Sunday into Monday is the snow threat. So that being said, I'll keep an eye on it. It's really, I wish I had more to tell you right now. It's a very uncertain setup. The concern for Thursday and Friday, while not a big event, it's likely going to have ice involved, which it just takes 1/10 of an inch of ice on the road to cause issue. And with the cold weather this week, the ground's going to be cold. Anything that falls could stick. So even freezing drizzle or mist could be a big concern, especially Friday morning. Thursday night into Friday morning, I think, will be the slickest time. I'll keep you updated throughout the week. I'm off the next couple of days. Well, I say I'm off. I'm off from being on TV, but I'll be posting these updates over the next 24 to 48 hours. Have a great Christmas, everybody. Enjoy it.